Good morning. As you saw at the beginning of the video, today's talking about escape emotional eating, and it gave us the traits of emotional and physical hunger. I think that the month of September I've been doing a lot of emotional eating. I had my birthday, I had my wedding, I had my visiting of my relatives. I wasn't feeling well. It was just all around wrapped up in a bow, an emotional month for me. September always is an emotional month for me, but I have to get past that. So I had a very bad gain last week. If you watched me last week, I gained 7.9. And this week I did really well. I got back on it. I have my sticker on here that even says it. The body achieves what the mind believes. I believe that I could do it this week. I stuck to it to a T. Well, not to a T, because I went and had nachos the other day. But I really stuck to it. And the scale showed it because I lost 5.3. I'm down to 232.2. I'm getting closer back to get into those 20s again. We all know I like not going back into a set of digits. I like getting into the lower set of digits. So I am going to get back into the lower set of digits. I am going to stop my emotional eating because my emotional eating is... We all do it. We're all guilty of it. We have to recognize the signs and realize that we're only human, and sometimes we think food is going to help us out. Food gives us so many good memories of things like my mother made a really good apple pie. My mother made an excellent lemon meringue pie. I can't master that. So sometimes when I eat out, I'll get a slice of lemon meringue pie and it reminds me of my mother. My mother was an excellent cook. So a lot of times some of the foods I make are the foods my mother taught me how to make. And so when I am eating them, they are kind of emotional. That's just part of the course. That's just part of life. But my quote for today are, feelings are like waves. You can't stop them from coming, but you can decide which one you want to surf, which is so true. You just have to remember that you're going to have like waves of hunger come at you, and you have to decide in your mind, is this because I'm really truly hungry, or is this just an emotional response to a negative situation? So we'll go through the book now, and the first thing it tells you is whether it's sadness, anger, or stress, when a strong feelings have you reaching for food, you're emotionally eating. Just like munching popcorn at a movie theater. You know what? It's so easy. You don't even think. You're just like, constantly like you're looking at the show and you're not thinking about what you're eating. Sometimes I don't think you're really enjoying it because you're just eating it. You're not really worried about it. Emotional eating is a learned response that can become a habit. I've brought this up before. I used to do a budget. Well, I still do. When I would do my budget, Jim and I are terrible with money. We've always been terrible with money. We're getting a little bit better, but you know what? I tell my kids I'm enjoying my life and don't expect any money. I'm doing all my improvements to my house because I think the only money they're going to get is out of the sale of the house, because Jim and I are going to go through all of our money because that's just what we do. But with that being said, when I was younger, where I put almost all of my weight on, was I would do a budget and I'd have to rob Peter to pay Paul to pay my bills, and I'd get the calls from the bill collectors, and after I'd hang up, I'd go and turn to food because I needed that to satisfy me, and that became a habit. So much so that now I still, when I do my budget, know that I'm going to have something to eat when I'm done because it's just ingrained in my mind that this is what you do. I now have the money to do it. It's just a matter of my money comes in at different times of the month between my Social Security check and Jim's Social Security check and the pension and different things like that. So I have to figure out which check is going to pay which bill. So I do write it down on a piece of paper so I know how much money I have for that particular week. But now, because I know it's a habit and I don't want to get back to emotional eating, I set aside a plate or a bowl or something healthy so that when I get done, my reward, as they say, is some food. And that's what I do, and that works for me. Emotions are like waves, rising, peaking, then subsiding. While eating might ease how you feel in the moment, it's not very helpful for the long term. Plus a bout of unplanned eating, which I've had this month. I had my birthday planned, but some of the other stuff, not so much, will make you feel frustrated or ashamed and eat in response to those feelings. That's so true. I knew that I was doing wrong, and I still kept thinking, well, you already blew it. You might as well have this, and you might as well have that. And so I didn't make smart choices, and that's why I gained 7.9 pounds. I hate to keep saying that out loud, but I have to keep reminding myself. I know I'm human, and I know we all have our ups and downs and stuff like that, but I can't let myself turn that 7.9 into another 2 pounds and then a 1 pound and then a 3 pound. No, I got to start going back to losing. There are many helpful ways to respond to a strong feeling. The key is to replace the habit of emotional eating with a healthier habit that also eases your mood. Not surprisingly, when you snap the emotion eating link, you're more likely to lose weight and maintain your weight loss. If you know that you're going to have a hard time, first of all, don't bring it into the house. Jim is not on any kind of a diet program, so I don't have to, but you know why? If you have to want to lose the weight yourself, and if you don't want to lose the weight yourself, you're not going to lose it. You're just not. So I can tell so-and-so, you need to lose this. You need to go on a diet. You need to get a better healthy lifestyle. Unless you're willing to face it and that's something you want to do, it's never going to happen. Jim is not ready for that, so I still have to have things. I do tend to buy things that, I'm allergic to coconut, so I buy him coconut chocolate chip cookies. That kind of keeps me away from that. I will eat an M&M, but I'm not like craving an M&M. So I can have like 4 or 5 or 6 M&Ms and be satisfied. So he likes M&Ms, I have M&Ms in the house. But I try to have things that he doesn't really like, that I don't really like, I take that back, that I don't really like. And Jim and I eat completely different anyhow, so it works for us, I guess, at this point. I'm hoping that he decides to lose some weight, but like I said, he has to make that decision. So the Think Again page tells us, when you recognize eating isn't the answer to strong emotions, it will be easier to replace it. It was with a better feel-good response. But the unhelpful thought is eating is the only thing that's going to make me feel less stressed right now. But the helpful thought is, I'm stressed and I'm feeling like eating will help, but I know I won't feel good later on. Walking around the block to clear my mind has helped before, so I think I'll give that a try. I find that when I walk in the morning, it really helps me out tremendously. The unhelpful thought is, I can't stop turning to food when I'm sad. I think we've all been there. The helpful thought is, turning to food when I'm sad has become a habit, but if I do something else comforting and repeat it whenever I feel sad, I can develop a healthier habit that feels good in the moment and really in the long run. So true. So true. So anyway, the recipe is for grilled baby peppers and oregano vinaigrette. I'll show you the recipe there. I don't know that I'll try it. I keep telling you I'm going to try these things, and half the time I don't. But anyway, I did like the one thing she brought up is a setback is your setup for a comeback. I had a major setback last week. I really did. But it set me up to know that I have to stop emotionally eating. I have to stop thinking about food as my friend. Food is your friend if you use it in the right way. We all have that one friend that kind of tries to steer us a little bit in the wrong direction. Oh, have a little piece of pie. It's not going to hurt you. One little piece of, one cookie or something like that. They're not doing it to be mean or to sabotage you. They think they're being your friend. But at that particular moment, if they know you're struggling and you're trying to make a decision, they're not really being a really good friend. That being said, food can be the same way. You can have like food around and you think, oh, if I have that candy bar, I'm going to feel so much better. And the candy bar's saying, have me. I'm going to make you feel better. I'm going to make you feel better. But the candy bar doesn't tell you, I'm only going to make you feel better for maybe 15, 20 minutes. And then after that, you're going to feel a lot of guilt. They don't tell you that because they want you to enjoy them. And, that makes no sense. When did I ever say I made sense? Because that's just who I am. I never make sense. I really don't. I know. I get confused in my mind. But there's 5 Ds that you have to remember. You have to determine the situation that you're in. Determine, am I really that hungry? Is it really something that I really want to do? Delay. I really want some cookies. But you know what? I'm going to wait 10 minutes. And if in 10 minutes I really want them cookies, I'm going to have them cookies. Distance. Okay, you know what? I really want those cookies. I'm really going to wait the 10 minutes, but I'm going to put them out of my sight. So maybe I'll forget about it. So I'm going to put them in the cupboard. They're away from me. I don't even know. Distract. Okay, I think when I put them in the cupboard, after I put them in the cupboard, I'm going to give myself 15 or 20 minutes. I'm going to decide, do I really want them? I think I'm going to go fold some laundry. That'll give me something to do. Maybe my mind will be distracted. And then you don't eat it. And then you think, I feel pretty successful. I managed that. I didn't have it. If at the end of the 15 or 20 minutes that you decide you really want the cookie, eat it with no guilt, because you've done all of the things that you needed to do to determine, is this something that you really, really need, or is it something that you wanted just for the moment? And you've made the decision. But what you always have to remember is what you want, never trade it for what you want. Wait a minute. Don't ever trade for what you want most. What you want most is to lose weight and to be healthy. So you don't want to trade that off, because you know that sometimes that's not going to be the healthiest choice, and you know you can make a better choice in the long run. Don't be following for that. Find alternating situations that are going to satisfy you if you run into an emotional eating pattern. Evaluate your setbacks. Figure out where you went wrong. Figure out what it was. I figured out it was my birthday, it was the wedding, it was seeing family, it was being sick. I decided all of that. But then I congratulated myself this week and thought, you know what? You're going to get back on track. You've identified all your problems for this week. You know where you were doing your emotional eating. You changed your plan and you did something different. I did a lot of watching of TV and YouTube videos because I fell behind. But I didn't eat while I was doing it. I drank my water. I also went for a quick little, I didn't even record it because it was just like a quick walk around the block just to kind of clear my mind to see how I was doing. I wasn't healthy enough to do my whole walk. This was just a half a mile, and it took a little bit out of me. I did go on social media. I did go back to reading. I got a couple of my books out. I started reading my book. I know I'm really odd. I read one book in one room and another book in another room and then another book in my bed. And I can keep the story straight. I'm just kind of wacky doodle. But you have to remember what triggers you to have that emotional response to eating. Is it feelings that you're having? Is it places that you've been? Is it boredom? Is it just a childhood habit that you have to break? Are you just making poor choices? Have you not prepared yourself because you don't have healthy foods in your house? Are you eating because you're stressed? You know, we have so much stress in our lives nowadays. I know that they thought that, giving us all cell phones and computers and stuff was going to ease our mind. I really think, not to sound like an old fogey, but I think back in the good old days when you only had like a channel of TV that had like 3 or 4 channels on it, and the TV went off with the national anthem at 1 o'clock in the morning, and it didn't come back on until 7 in the morning. You didn't have phones to call people. You had to have the phone in your house. If you called long distance, you had to pay extra money. I mean, there's drawbacks, and there's good things and bad things, pros and cons. That's what I'm trying to think of. Pros and cons to everything. But it was just, and like when my grandmother would always say, "Oh, it was an easier time." You know what? It really was an easier time. With that being said, my grandchildren will probably say to their grandchildren, "I remember back in the old days," because we're always progress. That's the way it goes. It just really goes. But anyway, you have to remember this. Hopefully you screenshotted the traits of emotional and physical hunger. Real quick, I'll go over them. Emotional hunger is sudden for a specific food. It's above the neck. It's just your brain telling you that you're hungry when you're really not. It's urgent. You have to do it right away. It's paired with an upsetting emotion. It involves automatic absent-minded eating. It doesn't stop once you're full, and you feel guilty afterwards. Whereas physical hunger is gradual. You're open to trying different foods. It's based in your stomach because your stomach's saying, I need some food. You're patient. You're taking the time to prepare something healthy. It occurs only out of a physical need. It's like, I am physically hungry. I need to eat. It involves deliberate choices and awareness. You stop eating once you're satisfied. And it's based on eating as a necessity. A lot of us have to remember that you don't want to live to eat, but eat to live. And that's a quote that a lot of us live by, and we try to live by, and sometimes it's just hard. You got to think, too, of what are the pros and cons of overeating? What is the positive intention? What feelings are you trying to avoid by eating? What do you dislike about when you overeat? And how is it affecting your goal? So always remember your 5 Ds, too. Determine, delay, distract, distance, and decide. I hope that helped you out a lot. I will be back again next week. I'm going to have another loss because I'm determined that I'm going to have another loss next week. And we'll just see how it goes. So give this video a like. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I do a daily vlog every day. And I do a weekly highlight on Saturdays. Sometimes I throw in recipes. Leave me a comment and share it if you think somebody might like this, because starting Monday I'm full on this channel, completely on this channel alone. So